Hey ladies, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're at in the world. My apologies, first of all, for coming on late. I know I said 8 p.m. Eastern time, and yeah, I just kind of have been having sessions with some of you beautiful ladies, and I always want to give my time and my space and never want to rush through anything. So it's kind of what happened. I was holding space for some of the ladies in this group, and we just kind of went beyond the time that I thought that we would go. So I'm here a little bit late. My apologies, but nonetheless, I am here, right? So this is episode 34, I believe, and we're going to be talking about embracing our feminine energy as widows. So if you are watching live, drop me a heart in the comments below. Hey Diane, thanks for jumping on. I'm actually doing this from my phone, so I can start seeing now, which is kind of cool. I guess I should be doing that now instead of doing it from my computer. I'm such a laptop person. Yeah, so anyways, cool. Thanks for coming on. Drop a heart if you are watching live. If you're watching a replay, hashtag replay, and let us know so I can show you guys some love in the comments below. So today's all about bracing our feminine energy as widows. And guys, balancing out feminine and masculine energy is actually so important, and that's really how we can get through life and really be more successful and not be as stressed out. So understanding both those energies is extremely important. It's a whole nother, not even a Facebook Live. It's got to be a workshop to talk about feminine and masculine energy. But today I want to focus on the feminine energy as widows and what that could mean for us, right? So when we think about grief, right, a lot of times we do sit in a place of dealing with grief from a logical perspective. We're trying to understand, like, what happened, how could I have made this, how could I have made the outcome be different here, or we start blaming ourselves, like, if I was more present. Like, I remember for me, there was a lot of intellectual things going on in my mind when Frank died. I blamed myself for not being more persistent in him wearing a helmet. I blamed myself for not dropping him to work that day and him riding his motorcycle. But then I also was trying to understand, like, how did that even happen? Like, he was the safest motorcycle rider that I've ever known. Like, he loved to cruise. He wasn't a speeder. He drove a Harley. He wasn't on a sports bike. He wasn't doing like wheelies and things like that people do on motorcycles. Like, he was so mindful of the rules of the road, and so safe in riding his bike. So I just, for the life of me, was trying to understand in the beginning, how did that happen? How was it even possible that Frank got into a motorcycle accident that day? So I didn't embrace my feminine energy in that moment, right? And so a lot of times when we lose our husbands, we move into this place of trying to process things intellectually. But the other thing is we hide behind closed doors. I know I did that. We think that we can do this by ourselves. We grieve alone. That is not feminine energy, right? One of the things that I didn't realize at the time when I was grieving was that I didn't have to control everything, that I didn't need to know all the answers, and that it was okay. That it was okay to reach out and ask for support, ask for help, right? I thought that I just need to figure it out on my own because that's what I was taught my whole life. That's what I was taught my whole life. So when we have an intellectual approach to dealing with grief, we overthink it, we analyze it on why things happen, it's not going to bring our husbands back, right? The things that we wish we could have done different, better, or more, it's not going to bring them back, right? The other thing that we do, if we don't step into feminine and we do more of a masculine energy, is we stay busy, right? We try to stay busy to avoid our feelings. And that also doesn't help us, right? Remember, grief is meant to be felt, right? It's how all of you that go through coaching with me, that we have to feel our way through grief, which means that it's going to suck. It's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. We have to be confronted with everything that we're feeling in order for us to heal from it. Right? To avoid it, it just keeps it stuffed down. And I promise you that it will come up in other ways through triggers, right? Anxiety, panic attacks, developing health conditions, right? Because the body, right? Grief it's a physiological effect, right? Grief, feelings, they're all physical and it resides in the body. And the best way to heal from that is allowing the body to process those human emotions, right? So we don't need to make sense of everything, guys. Just feel those human emotions and know that grief is not structured. It is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 step. It is not a step process. It's messy. It's ugly. It's confusing. It's blurry, right? And it's unique to each of us. It's unique to each of us, right? One of the other things that people do, and I think a lot of that is outside influence, is you're still grieving? You're not done yet? Right? And so sometimes we believe that we have to put a time frame, we have to put a cap on our grieving. No, that's not true. We don't, right? I'm working with a widow that 11 years into her journey, right? And it's going to be 10 for me. Do I still grieve? Of course. It's going to be 10 years this year that Frank died. July 17, 2015, he died, right? And 10 years, I can't even believe that I've made it through life over the last 10 years, because in the beginning, and I'm sure a lot of you could relate to this, you couldn't even see how it was possible to make it through to the next day. How do you make it through to the next day? And so to make it through 10 years, the human emotions that I have about that is all over the place, to be honest. I have a lot of gratitude for Frank in the things that he taught me, in the way I can honor him, in the life that I'm living now. Extremely sad. Sad that he's not here to witness all the things that I'm doing, because I know he'd be proud of me. Sad that I have 6 grandchildren that never met their papa, never will have the opportunity to be spoiled by him, to be loved by him in the physical way, to experience his playfulness and his sense of humor, and the way he spoiled the first 3. I mean, they could do no wrong. Whatever they wanted, Papa got it for them, right? And the other 6 would never be able to experience that. So there's a lot of sad. Okay, I lost you guys for a moment. Hopefully I'm back. I saw that I was reconnecting, so sorry about that. Hopefully you guys see me. Thank you for being here. I see a lot of the ladies coming in. I saw Christy. Hey, Christy, love you so much. Vanessa, hi, Ness. Love to have you here. Penny, Becky, hi, Becky. I don't know if there's anybody else that jumped on, but thank you, ladies, for coming on. So let's talk. I was talking, sorry, went down rabbit hole again, and I was just talking about myself and just kind of where I was at, right? And where I'm at now, like today, experiencing like 10 years coming forward. But let me bring us back to the subject at hand. Why feminine energy helps us heal, right? It helps us heal because feminine energy is all about feeling. It's all about flow, allowing those human emotions to flow. And it's all about surrendering to the process. Because grief and healing is a process, right? It's a process, you guys. We're all gonna grieve differently. We're all gonna move through our healing journey at a different pace. And so I want you to be okay with where you're at in this moment. Don't compare yourself to anybody else in this group. And especially don't compare yourself to me, right? Because I'm going on 10 years. Now, if we fall into that place of comparison, we only want to do it to be inspired, right? If you want to compare yourself to anybody else that has moved forward, look at it from a place of, I want to get there someday, right? I want to get there someday. So why feminine energy helps us heal, right? It allows us to process those human emotions, right? Instead of keeping them trapped inside of our body. So much happens, you have no idea. Most of us don't realize it. But when we keep those human emotions trapped in our body, we experience so many other things, and it's that ripple effect of grief that will happen in our life, okay? Feminine energy helps us to express our grief in healthy ways. Crying, please cry. Crying is normal, right? We are literally releasing toxicity from our body through those tears. We're allowing our body to be okay with feeling all of those human emotions, right? But the other thing about expressing your grief, because grief isn't just all of the bad human emotions, it's also the gratitude that you feel for the life that you had with your husband. Journal, right? Write down all of the things that you're so grateful for him. Tell your stories. You guys, this is what we have this widow group for. Would love for you to come on here and share your husbands with us. We'd love to get to know them. You know, I was just joking with one of the other ladies that I was on a call with earlier and saying how Frank is so famous now, right? So many people love Frank, and he's so famous because I talk about him all the time. But when he was alive, he was the wind beneath my wings. He was in the shadows. He pushed me up, right? And said, babe, you go do it. Here, this is what you got to tell them. And then I would be the face, right? But a lot of people didn't know that it was not me that came up with all those ideas. It was Frank, right? And I wish that he had more courage to go out there, because he spoke beautifully when he did, right? But he's like, nah, I don't want to do that. You go do it, right? So if you could just see me now. But you appreciate them, right? So journal and share about them. We'd love to know about your husbands. Talk about them. Say their name. Say their name, right? There's this thing about grief that people think that if we don't talk about them, we're not going to be sad. That's not true, right? This is why, like, when people die, like, we don't talk about them anymore. That's crazy. Say their name. Make them famous, like I made Frank famous, right? And keep yourself moving. Keep yourself moving, guys, because movement is so important. Like, we're releasing a lot when we move, right? Walk in nature. Get out there and dance. Have a dance party. Laugh, right? It's okay to laugh. I know a lot of women are saying, I feel guilty to enjoy my life because my husband should be here enjoying that with me. And I get that too, 100%. But I promise you that when you release that, you're releasing emotional energy. And that means that you're bringing all of that stuff forward. So you're teaching your body how to process those human emotions. So teach it how to feel the good as well, right? Feminine energy softens us so that we can receive that support that we need, because we are not meant to do this journey by ourselves, right? It softens us up so that we can receive compassion, not only from others, but receive compassion from within, right? Receive love from others and receive love from ourselves, right? So that feminine energy allows us to receive and soften ourselves for that receiving. And then lastly, it teaches us to surrender. Trust your process of healing. Trust the journey forward. Enjoy the waves, right? It's an ebb and flow, right? I was talking to someone the other day. God, I can't remember who it was, but we're talking about the waves going in and out. It might have been Christy, talking about how just when the waves go out, it's just like pushing it all out, right? Right? When they come in, it's just like kind of hits you, but then we allow it to just be released, right? So allow the waves of this journey, because it isn't a straight and narrow road, right? It is crazy. It goes up and down, and sometimes you're going to hit boulders and blocks and big bumps in the road. That's grief, right? It's called grief for a reason, you guys, because it is painful and it hurts. So we can't avoid it. We can't go around it. We can't go under it. We can't go above it. We have to go through it. We have to move through it. And this is why we are not meant to do this by ourselves, because it's too painful too, right? It's too painful too. The other thing about feminine energy is embracing self-care. When you have feminine energy, when you allow yourself to live in that feminine energy, now you're going to start thinking about, how can I take care of me, right? Nourish your body. Eat those good foods that will nourish you, right? Not the processed foods that are going to bring you this high and then make you crash, right? Because that's grief already in itself. So why would we want to do that with food? Eat whole foods that are going to nourish your body, that are going to give you the right energy that you need to keep pushing forward. Because grief is all about human emotions. Human emotions is just energy in motion, which means that there is so much energy that we are either releasing or stuffing down, and that is exhausting. That is exhausting. So eat the right foods to nourish your body. Great. Okay. The other thing about feminine energy is we start to get creative about that self-care and creating those sacred rituals, right? For me, I love to take baths, right? And when I'm taking a bath, I have a glass of wine right next to me. It helps me to unwind as well, right? It just makes me to feel good about myself. I put on all that soft music, right? Maybe you could light a candle while you're taking a bath. I don't know. Or maybe it's not a bath that you like. Maybe it's just like a hot shower, like just making that water just fall on you, just allowing it to fall. And cry, right? If you need to, let out all of that human emotion and just cry in the shower. I know I did that in the beginning, right? Engage in your senses, right? This is how we get ourselves grounded in that present moment, is just to really engage in your senses. What are you feeling? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you tasting? What are you smelling? When you allow yourself to be in that moment and be engaged with all of your senses, it brings you back. Because a lot of times grief can take you to this place that is so overwhelming and you get lost. You get lost in all of it. So bring yourself back, engage in your senses, even if it's just for that moment, right? And then just take it moment by moment. And then the last thing is speak kindness to yourself. You guys, this is a hard journey. None of us ever wanted it. None of us ever asked for it, right? When we invite new widows into this widow group, I'm always so honored. It also puts this deep sadness into my heart, because yet again, someone else lost big, right? And that breaks my heart. But at the same time, I'm so honored and grateful that we can have this space, that we can be here to love, support, to encourage each other through this journey, right? So speak kindness to yourself, because it is a journey and it's hard and it's painful and it's messy and it's not always easy to navigate. Like, we don't always have all the answers, right? You don't know what you don't know. This is why I do what I do, so I can help you to know a little bit more about what it means to heal, right? And then to understand grief so that you can embrace it, right? And respect what it is in your life. So speak kindness to yourself. You're doing the best that you can, okay? You're doing the best that you can, right? So that's all about the feminine energy. Let me just see, I put down some notes here. Okay, just a couple more things. How do you be more compassionate with yourself? Speak to yourself. Again, speak with kindness. Speak to yourself like you would to a very close friend. Allow yourself to rest. I know a lot of times you want to just keep moving, right? Keeping busy helps us to forget about what is really happening in your life, what you're really feeling. But I promise you, rest is so, so important, right? So don't feel guilty when you need a rest. Trust your body. Remember that grief isn't about fixing you. We're not fixable human beings. We just need to be seen, heard, and acknowledged, right? So find people that can see you, hear you, and acknowledge you. And then celebrate your small wins, because healing is happening even if you don't even see it. Waking up the next day and starting again, that's a win. That's a win, right? Getting through your day, and at the end of the day, I made it through today. That's a win, right? So celebrate even your smallest wins. Even if all you did today was just breathe, celebrate that as a win, because we're all here for a reason, right? Whatever that purpose is, you'll find it. You'll find it, right? But first you have to heal. First you have to honor yourself. First you need to step into that feminine energy. Let go of the masculine energy for just a moment to allow yourself to heal. I promise you that masculine energy has a place in our life. It does. When we need to start making decisions, when we need a little bit more clarity about how to move forward, to be able to get you through, like if you're working or whatever, right? We do need that. But don't disregard or disrespect that feminine energy, because you need it to move forward, to give yourself grace through this journey. All right, ladies, so I would love to know what you thought about today's session. Drop in the comments if you found value to today. If you need a little bit more context around this, or you'd love to share with your story with me, I'd love to be a heart with ears for you. DM me, let me know. I'd love to hear your story, or put it in the group, right? Because I'm sure there's a lot of ladies here who would be more than honored to hear your story as well. Because when we come together and we have this presence of holding space for each other, we also realize more and more that we're not alone, and that there are other ladies out there that could be going through something very similar. And this feeling of aloneness is undeniable because we lost our husbands, but we can at least feel a little bit of support from the sisterhood that we have in this group. All right, ladies, wherever you are in the world, be safe, have a good weekend, and I will talk to you again next week. Take care.